Have you ever felt like you're just going through the motions? Like you're disconnected from the world around you? Well, you're not alone, and today we're going to explore how meditation can help with feelings of derealization and depersonalization and bring you back to a place of grounding and connection.
So what exactly are derealization and depersonalization? They're conditions in which you feel like things aren't real. Perhaps you're not connecting to yourself and you feel as though you yourself are not real, or as though the world around you isn't real. I sometimes call it ghost syndrome because that's how it can feel. It can feel as though you're not really inhabiting this world. It can be deeply unsettling, but meditation can help when you do it in the correct way. And it is very important that you do meditate in the correct way, because when you meditate incorrectly, it can actually make these conditions worse. Many people who come to me for my private meditation lessons tell me that they're experiencing dissociation, derealization, or that they just feel disconnected from reality. When I then inquire as to how they meditate and what their practice is like, they usually tell me that they've just been doing mindful breathing or vipassana. Now, mindful breathing or vipassana are both dissociative meditation techniques. In these techniques, we focus on the breath and we routinely tell ourselves that our thoughts are not real or that they're unimportant. And so we're moving ourselves away from our thoughts and we're training the mind to see thoughts as not something that's real and not something that's important. And same with physical sensations. We say this is just a sensation, nothing more. And so we desensitize ourselves to our thoughts and our feelings, and essentially we detach from them. That can be very good because sometimes in life your thoughts and your feelings are domineering you. They're controlling you. They're having too much impact. And that's when it is good to use mindful breathing and vipassana so that you do detach a bit so that your thoughts and feelings have less of an impact. But if you keep going indefinitely, eventually you're going to be so far from your thoughts, so far from your feelings that it will just seem that you're not real. Thankfully, there are ways to change your meditation practice to combat this. So let me show you what to do if you are experiencing depersonalization and derealization. The key is to use the right meditation techniques. To start with, I recommend using somatic meditation. Somatic meditation is a body-led meditation in which we become aware of the sensations around the body. That's going to help you to reconnect to your physical self and make things a bit more real. I also recommend that you practice any form of grounding meditation that's going to make you be more in contact with the outside world. Now that can include things like Zen walking or kinhin, where you're just mindfully observing the movement of your legs as you take a slow walk. Also, five senses meditation, where you take your time to go through each of the senses, meditating on your present environment. So, for instance, you'll just be sitting and breathing, and then to begin with, you'll become aware of the soundscape, and then of physical sensations, perhaps scents, tastes, and so on. Grounding techniques like that are going to pull you back into the environment and make it feel like the world is once again a real place. Also, do consider compassion-based meditations. There are very many choices there. By far the most popular would be loving kindness or metta, but you might also like to try karuna and tonglen, and there's many more. You can find instructions and guided meditations for all of those on my blog, thedailymeditation.com. I've worked with many people who were experiencing dissociation. One student in particular came to me saying that he felt like a ghost, and I knew exactly what he meant because actually when I was around 21, during a conversation with one of my acting instructors, I happened to mention that I was depressed because I too felt like a ghost at that time. The student had lost touch with the real world, lost touch with their passions and with their day-to-day interests. What we did was we went through many of those meditations that I just mentioned to you: Zen walking, five senses, loving kindness, and karuna, and other meditations that specifically targeted his personal beliefs and the things that mattered most to him. And after I think it was about 4 to 5 sessions, he really started to change and to be much more engaged. First in the meditation sessions, and then he told me he was starting to feel a lot more engaged with life. So that's the good news. The good news is that if you are experiencing depersonalization, derealization, then by changing your meditation practice and by incorporating the techniques that I've shown you, you can turn things around. The key and the ideal way to meditate is, yes, do continue to use dissociative techniques when you feel as though you're becoming too consumed or too controlled by negative thoughts and feelings. It's like a jug. You get your mind like a jug. Jug gets full of gunk. Then you use dissociative techniques like mindful breathing, and that's the equivalent to cleaning out the jug and emptying it. But then once you've emptied that jug, you want to fill it with positive things, which is up to you to decide what positive things are. But certainly things like compassion, any kind of positive beliefs, be they spiritual or otherwise, that you might have about the world and the universe. Techniques that ground you to the present moment, like walking, and connect you to nature. So you've emptied your jug a little bit too much, basically. So now, to combat that, fill your jug. Fill it with connections to the things that matter to you, connections to nature, connections to the present moment, connections to your body. Then you're going to find that your meditation practice is a lot more successful. And I would love to help you with that. This is something that I have taught many people to do, to go from that state of derealization and depersonalization to being much more connected and feeling much more engaged with life. And I'd love to help you with that. If that sounds good to you, join me for private meditation lessons on thedailymeditation.com.